There's a lot of information on this slide, but we've got tons more to cover, so I'll go quickly here. The main point of this slide, and you see we have Azure across the top, three different options, A, B, and C. We have AWS at the bottom. And the main point here is if you're a very small shop and you don't do a lot of direct negotiations or directly interacting with a salesperson from Microsoft, there's a pretty good chance you don't have an enterprise agreement with a software assurance contract. So you may not get a chance to take advantage of these, but for larger companies that do, if you have that software assurance, that includes two things: Azure hybrid benefits, which means you can deploy to Azure using the cost schedule that you've negotiated with Microsoft, and also license mobility, which enables you to deploy, say, to any virtualized hosts at your discretion. So that could be AWS EC2 instances, it could be GCP VMs for Google, it could be Rackspace or what have you. So the main point to make here is that there's a number of different kinds of ways you can kind of negotiate your deals with Microsoft. And if you have one of those special deals, then you can use that to your advantage as you deploy to the cloud. Study that at your leisure as you have more time. In a similar way, and I know this is something, Jeff, you've helped many customers with, is kind of choosing the wrong class of, the license for the server edition of SQL Server.
Well, hopefully we're helping them choose the right one, Kevin.
Well, many customers are choosing the wrong one, and so you come along and you'll say, well, why are you using Enterprise Edition on a server that only has 16 CPUs?
And 100 gig of memory.
Yes, exactly. In the same way, it's interesting that in Azure, there are special licenses for your non-production environments. So for dev and QA, you can get a big discount there. AWS on RDS doesn't have that. So if you want to use SQL Server Developer Edition, you can only do that on EC2. Otherwise, you'll have to use SQL Express, believe it or not, on that. So there are discounts available. Another quick note too is the DTU. Have you ever heard of DTUs?
I've heard of them.
Jeff? Yeah, well, and that's the way you want to keep it. So it's a database transaction unit. So you can purchase your Azure compute in DTUs, but it's really hard to pin down and determine if you're making the right choices there. I always recommend that you go with the option for virtual core, vCore based deployment in the cloud. Now, one other quick note here too, both the pricing and the TCO calculators for each of the vendors that we're covering today are listed there. And what difference does it hit in your brain when you see TCO versus pricing?
Are you asking me or the audience?
I'm asking both of you guys.
Yeah, well, TCO, again, price is only one element when you're looking at the total cost of ownership. It's much bigger than just the price you pay.
Yeah. Right. So TCO would include like, support, I guess, things like that.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I tell folks as they're moving to the cloud is don't expect to save money moving to the cloud. It may actually cost you more in the long run. Look to the other cloud benefits and make sure those are the ones that you care about as part of the move because of that TCO.
Well, the other thing too is it's not just about the cost. It's what are the benefits, right? There's advantages. If selling well, the advantages, being more competitive, being able to move faster in the market, which impacts your business. That's why you're doing it. Now, I know a lot of folks it's an edict from management, and we talked about that earlier on how much do executives really understand the why and the what. But it's much bigger than just the cost of doing it. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it in the first place? And what are the benefits to the business?